gotta talk around into
Oh, talk into it.
Yeah, you gotta talk around into mine. I can have it turned up a little bit too.
Yeah, can we have the
Well, I'm gonna pass it.
I'll turn.
This is Heidi Harper,
Hi.
one of our veteran Mission Week leaders. Tina Owens and Joe Harper. And what we're going to do is present a little video for you, and then we'll touch on that.
I think they should be working out the kinks in the volume. Here, I'll just kind of put that. So the video that we're about to show you guys is one of the videos. It's going to be touching on a place called the CCC in Chimaltenango. So just keep in mind that the area that we're showing you guys is a very poverty place. So just enjoy.
Tears fall as Maria steps inside the room and sees the stove for the first time. Her prayer has been answered.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Galvanized steel. And
Sorry.
Good job, ladies.
Yeah.
Volume 36, 41, 43, 45.
and a grandchild's constant cough reminds her of why she prayed. Sometimes it takes 11 cinder blocks to answer a prayer.
Still being hard to do that.
It takes clean water or a classroom with a simple word.
Volume 48.
In Chimaltenango, families at the ravine dam struggle to survive. They sift through trash to find something, anything, that can be used to provide for their family. Orphan outreach mission teams met the families firsthand, and friendships were established between the people who dig through refuse to find sustenance, and the people willing to give time, talent, and resources to help. Today, family preservation, which is strengthening families to prevent children from becoming orphans, is at the heart of Orphan's work in Chimaltenango. Hopes are held high, and dignity is restored.
What are you doing, Johnny?
The needs of the family.
Y'all forgive Johnny, guys. He zoomed out of it and then it was already where it was, but bless his heart.
I need to turn it up some more.
Max
Turn it up some more.
Yeah.
Max it out.
It's outside in
Yeah.
that closet, and
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
trying to get it.
speakers in the ceiling.
It's the same speaker,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna matter to turn it up.
Would you guys like to watch it from the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that works a lot better.
Put the mic towards the volume part of the laptop too, maybe. If it's coming out from there.
Yes. Yep.
This will work. All right. I'll be too loud.
We'll see.
The tears fall as Maria sits inside the room and sees the stove for the first time. Her prayer has been answered. 11 cinder blocks and galvanized steel mean healthier days ahead. Soot clings to the walls and to her skin, and a grandchild's constant cough reminds her of why she prayed. Sometimes it takes 11 cinder blocks to answer a prayer. Sometimes it takes clean water or a classroom or the simple words, "You are worthy of great love." In Chimaltenango, families at the ravine dump struggle to survive. They sift through trash to find something, anything, that can be used to provide for their family. Orphan outreach mission teams met the families years ago, and friendships were established between the people who dig through refuse to find sustenance and the people willing to give time, talent, and resources to help. Today, family preservation, which is strengthening families to prevent children from becoming orphans, is at the heart of Orphan Outreach's work in in Chimaltenango. Hopes are held high and dignity is restored by meeting the needs of the families. Center offers everything from crisis relief to classes for parents and children. Maria's son is in the after-school program at the CCC, and he is showing great promise. He, along with many other students, are receiving tutoring and training. For the first time ever, the children of the ravine are using words like teacher and doctor and accountant when asked what they want to be when they grow up. For Maria and her friends, the days working in the ravine are brighter now.
Yo les agradezco primeramente a Dios.
First of all, I am grateful to God, and secondly to all of you for coming to my humble home. My heart feels very joyful to have you. The truth is, for me, the support from you has been a big blessing to my life. Everything we have received, the provisions, the help with the stove, has been a huge blessing. A huge help. I don't even have the words to say thank you or anything to give you in return, but I receive you all with all of my heart and I love you very much.
Join us in transforming the lives of children and families in Guatemala by sponsoring a child, traveling on a mission trip, or providing for urgent needs.
Oh, I get goosebumps every time I watch that. Here, Haley, on that, we just got back from our trip in February. She'll tell you a little bit about that.
Okay, so like Johnny just said, it's really hard to watch that. And my first time going to the CCC, it was really hard because just imagine Texas heat and you know the smell of the dumpster. It smells really bad, right? Okay, imagine that times 10. And there's kids, families everywhere. And that's their job, to figure out which trash is good or not. Like you'll see trash bags hanging like to dry. But whenever we went with KD&E, which is where my parents are gonna be going this summer, and what KD&E does with Orphan Outreach is they find whatever need is fit. Usually we do Bible studies and VBS, which is really fun. And being able to go back as many times as we have, you start to see the need, feel the need, and then you start building relationships. So like the first trip, it's God's opening your eyes to seeing a whole different world. And then the second time, if you're able to go, you start to build that relationship. They're like, wow, that person came 1,000 miles all the way just to see me. And then it's like going back enough times, it's like a second home, which is really, really touching. But it's just, the more times that you show and the stronger relationship that you build, it's very rewarding and it's very humbling. And so I'm going to talk to you very briefly about a story. We went to do home visits in the ravines, in Chimaltenango. KD&E had fundraised, and we got grocery bags. And so we spread it out, divided and conquer into teams, and we went into these homes. And there was a family. The mother was probably around like my age, 23 at the time. She had 5 kids. There was one boy called, I think he was Alfredo. Yeah, he was the cutest little thing, had a bright smile on his face. But then his brother, that's the one that got me. He was so excited, guys, that he was opening up a bag. He pulled out a toothbrush. Imagine if you won the lottery. That was his excitement. So just a simple toothbrush, and it made me think, I was like, that's something I take for granted every single day. It's like, oh cool, I could just go to Walmart and buy a toothbrush. They don't have that luxury that we have, you know? So by being able to support that family. Like, let's say that if you guys do decide to sponsor a family or a child, that's probably the best thing that you could ever give them. So just being there and praying for them, with them, you're just building an unforgettable bond. I think it opened up my eyes more than it opened up theirs. So the time that we're there, you're that puzzle piece. You're that God's puzzle piece to the part of their lives. Because usually whenever you leave for short-term mission trips, like, man, what's going to happen next? And I was like, well, we're just God's vessel and using that. So that's my tidbit. I told them I would keep it short. But here's Johnny.
Okay. Tina's going to give her little story, and we'll play the next video.
What X1 John? Okay. That's Ukraine. We're not talking about Ukraine today. This one?
Good shape, yes.
Orphan outreach sponsorship creates a true transformation in a child's life. The mission trip participants in Guatemala meet the children of the Ravine School and are instantly inspired by their spirit, joy, and smiles. Relationships with these families have grown, and yet God has revealed the harsh reality of their lives, and much work still needs to be done. This is Anna Zamora. She has 7 children. They live in one room with 2 mattresses, no windows, no floor, and no electricity. The family survives day to day with the little food their distant father supplies, or from a meager amount of money the children bring home by digging in the dump. They have no water source for cooking, cleaning, and bathing. Anna and her children receive no medical care, and the children are often sick and suffering. It honestly seems unimaginable to live this way, but the truth is, the Zamora family is used to this struggle, and with the smallest blessing, they feel God's presence. This gives them hope. Orphan outreach donations provide an education to the Zamora children through the Ravine School, as well as a healthy breakfast and uniforms. And God's work is just beginning at the Ravine. Orphan outreach relies solely on the support of faithful donors like you to extend God's reach into the lives of these children and their families. Become a sponsor today and send them the greatest gift anyone can receive: hope and love.
When he asked me to, speak on that one, I'm like, what's that? I've been 3 times, and all 3 times I've been so rewarded and so fulfilled going. The dump, like Haley touched on, that was really, really sad to watch the trucks pull in and people just waiting on the trucks to come in, and kids and family just going through the dumps and stuff like that. And then being in the schools and stuff, playing with the kids and interacting with them. They're so open to love and to people that want to come and spend time and show them that they're loved, that they do mean something, their life means something. And my plan is to hopefully go twice a year now. And I like to go back to the same places so that I can see those faces again and again and build on that relationship and show those kids, every one of them, every single one of them, God loves us the same. Doesn't matter if I'm in the United States and they're where they're at. Their life means something too. And so, it's very touching.
Joe also has been to the Ravine, and I'll let him share his story on the Ravine.
Thank you, John.
Or you can talk about Little House.
Little house.
Well, the Ravine is probably my favorite place to go. And that sounds kind of strange because it's a dump.
But it's just the people there that are working. I've been in the car business for going on 34 years. I know lots of people, I've sold lots of cars. I've got lots of family, and I don't know not one single person that would do what these people do to try to put food on the table. It is the toughest thing I've ever seen in my life. The smell is absolutely horrid. And you've got to put like Vicks Vapor Rub on the inside of your nose just so you don't throw up. Because
Yeah.
the smell is that bad. They have pocket fires that break out because of all the chemicals that's in the trash. It burned completely up once in the last 6 or 7 years. And everybody, and it's sad to say this, but everything, because everything burned up. They're working at a trash dump and they lost everything. So I take my hat off to those people that live and work there at the ravine. The children that go to the CCC, although, I mean, that may be the only meal they get there during the day, and it's just a snack. That's worth going over and over and over again, just to take them something, talk to them, leave them something. And, you know, when I first started the mission trips, it was my wife's idea. And when we first had the meeting, it said that Guatemala was a hostile nation. And that if you were abducted, Orphan Outreach does not negotiate with terrorists. And I looked at my wife and said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And she said, "I've never been more sure of anything in my life," which is a pretty strong statement. So, and it is it's very, very eye-opening. The children down there are just so much happier than the children that are here in the States. They don't have cell phones and Nintendos and PlayStations, and they're outside actually building relationships with other children. So much happier. You know, there's not a lot that you can do to make them any happier. So if they have nothing and you show them love, they're happy. My daughter is spoiled.
Yep.
You're welcome for the toothbrush, by the way.
Thank you. I'm ever so grateful.
So it's very, very eye-opening. I wish everybody could go at least one time on a mission trip and see how many more people go that second time. Because the first time you go, it's all about you. And that's my thought on it. It's all about you. You get to come home and say, "I went on a mission trip and we got to install so many stoves and water filters." Let's see if you go back. Because then it's all about the kids. And you're not rescuing them, they're rescuing you. So it's very, very heartwarming. It's very, very touching. And if you don't think you don't reach these people and they're not reaching out to you, when you have one that's very, very special in an orphanage and they get out of the system and then they contact you on Facebook just to tell you that they love you, that's when you know you're doing something. So I'm going to give it back to John. There you go, buddy.
Yes, we started working with the CCC, which is a community care center, with all the families that live at the dump. And what we offer is a half a day of school for the kids, and tutoring and Bible study classes. We give them a meal a day, so we do know that they get at least one good meal per day. And then the rest of the day, they spend their time working at the dump with their families to help support the family. So the Community Care Center has been 3 years now. This is our 3rd year, and we are a full-time school with teachers there every day. So the kids and their families have a place to go to for help if needed, and offer, I guess it would be some form of education because they don't get to go to the schools. We work very closely with that group, and we sponsor the kids that go to school there for $30 a month, which is less than $400 a year to make a difference in a child's life. What else?
Sponsorships.
Yes, we will be doing sponsorships all summer, and we've got at least 3 or 4 trips planned to the end of the year if anyone's interested in a trip with us. Every single one of us here have been at least 4 or 5 times. This is your third time. Let's see. And is there any questions that any of you might have?
Whose trash are they going through?
I'm sorry?
Trash.
I mean, you see the
Oh,
big trash,
this is
I mean.
city dump.
There's these kids, okay. So, I mean, so obviously the people, the population does not care about these kids, is that what you're saying?
Right. The whole country is very poor, so everyone's pretty much just fending for themselves however they can make it.
But they have to sit down in the airport, people fly airlines in there,
Yes.
and so.
The
that
big
makes
city, the city of Guatemala is probably the largest city in that country. They do have industry there, but there's only so many jobs for the people that are there. And if you don't have an education, then you're not going to get a job.
Chimaltenango is about 2 hours from Guatemala City, so there's not a lot of support that comes from there. So when you
Limited
get out-
transportation.
Yeah, when you get out into the rural areas, and that's mainly where we go, that's what you're looking at, that's what you're faced with.
And it's mostly an agricultural country. Their growing season is about 12 months out of the year, so they're constantly growing vegetables or fruits for export, which doesn't pay a lot. Yes.
So for a certain area, this thing is a certain area, I don't know how big it is, but for the kind of thing you're talking about, what's the estimated population of this ravine, population of this whatever it is?
There's about maybe 30 families that live in the ravine in that little area, but the total population would probably be around, I want to say 30,000. That's
A little less.
Yeah, that's I think that's conservative, actually. I think it's a little bit more.
And most of them work in farming. Of course, they don't have the census surveys like we do here, so it's really hard to tell exactly how many people live there.
One thing about the families at the ravine, since you guys are talking about it, the payment as far as that is, I think, a little less than $1 a day.
$3 a day.
No.
It's $3
I
a
think
day.
it was $3.
Okay, $3 and under a day. So think about providing a family with that. And
That's why they all have to work.
yeah, literally. And some of the boys, whenever they reach a certain age, they can't go to school because they have to help provide for their family. So I'm sure that you saw one of the stoves that they were installing, kind of like while you guys were eating, I'm sure if you guys were paying attention. That's the stoves that we installed last summer. They're a lot more updated and more, what's the word? Efficient. So before then, the boys would have to go out and dig and search for wood sticks just so they could have a meal. Yeah. And one thing that I forgot to add, if you go down there your first time, you don't have to know the language. You guys just show them love. And that's over one thing of all. Love conquers everything. And that's what I'm going to say about that.
Okay, we've got one more little video to show, and then we'll be done. And if there's any more questions, I'll be happy to stay and answer them.
Is that how it's like?
about 90% of our volunteers that go with us on our trips. Out of a group of 30, we have about 20 kids, 8 females, and 2 males. So we're kind of short on male leadership. I know it's hard for most men to be able to get away from their jobs and their financial responsibilities. You know, we all find a way to do the things that we want to do.
Okay.
Going on a mission trip will open your eyes to what it means to be family.
Going on a mission trip will change your perspective of what it means to help others.
Going on a mission trip will introduce you to the most amazing kids.
Shows me how Christ works all over the world in different ways.
Creates long-lasting friendships.
Will challenge you to do something.
Will teach you the difference between real need and real joy.
They need you to come to play, to swing this morning. They need you to come to do Bible verses.
They need you to come to tell them about the love of Jesus.
They need you to come to let them know that they are not forgotten.
They need you to come to comfort them in their crying.
To provide medical care.
To share the love of our Heavenly Father.
They need you to come to just have fun.
To be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Going on a mission trip has changed my life and it'll change your life.
Going on a mission trip will change your life.
Going on a mission trip will change your life.
Visit orphanoutreach.org to check out our unique mission trip opportunities.
Okay. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Johnny, where is that orphan outreach, where is it based out?
Plano, Texas.
And so the money's distributed how?
When we make our donations, they use that money to pay for their schools. Our volunteers that go there, we also we have places for them to stay. We usually stay at some safe and nice hotels, and we get 3 meals a day. We buy clothes for some of the kids. We provide some hygiene products, diapers, lots of diapers.
That's for the child.
And
Do you buy everything there, or do
well,
you?
we usually take it with us. Each one of our volunteers will carry a 50-pound suitcase full of supplies. So that's...
Then we go and spend some more money when we're in town.
Yeah. And educational supplies too, pencils, papers, notebook, coloring, crayons, things like that.
How long are your mission trips?
We usually stay 5 to 6 days. We do have a 2-week program in February. Yes, we just got, Haley and I just got back from a 2-week trip in February. And there are some volunteer programs where you can go and stay up to 3 months if you want to teach or spend some time with the kids and get to really know them. So, hopefully, in the near future, I'll get to go stay for 3 months. Especially during the winter time. December, January, and February would be great. We have trips all through the summer lined up if anyone's interested in one of those. And we'll also have a Christmas trip that we're getting ready to sign people up for.
I have a question about language. On the communication, what are the communicators, do they speak their native language and then you have to interpret?
Yes, there's 3 to 4 interpreters on each trip that go with us. And some of our volunteers also speak Spanish too.
Like him.
We have, I would say 5 translators that go with us on each trip.
the really cool part about this trip is we're going down to an area called Santiago, and they still speak a Maya dialect down there. So it's really interesting to see the older generation speaking in Maya language, and then their children translating that into Spanish, and then our translators translating that to English. Somebody's going to get their feelings hurt one day. So that's a lot of translating.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to hear that language. I mean, no, you don't hear that ever. I mean, you don't hear the American Indian language here in the States any longer. So it's, imagine that, and that's their form of communication, so that's pretty cool.
It may sound like Spanish at first, but then you're like, oh wait, that's not Spanish.
Any other questions?
What's it cost to make a trip? What's it cost a person to go?
Usually it runs about $2,000 to $2,200 for the week. That's our airfare, our hotels, all of our food, and expenses for traveling, and some supplies that we take with us that we all purchase with that money. That's what that 50-pound bag will consist of: supplies. It could be school supplies or clothes, diapers, backpacks, just whatever's needed for that particular trip. Anyone else?
Thank y'all.
Excellent program. Thank y'all for following Jesus and God and your servants' hearts, for sure.